morning. I'm going to tell you a story this morning. If you've been following me at all, you know that I've been reading a story to everybody. But this time, I want to tell you my story. So, when I was a little kid, I was always, normal, average kind of size. I wasn't fat, I wasn't thin. I was just average. And actually, I was kind of muscular because I was very active. And even when I was a teenager, I was kind of muscular, but I started putting on weight. And I remember when I was a teenager, my mother actually took me to Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers started in New York City in the 1960s, and my mother always struggled with her weight. So she took me to Weight Watchers. Nobody, like back in those days, parents didn't talk to children. It was like, adults were here, children were here, and there was a great gulf between them. It wasn't like today where there's a lot of communication that goes on. So when she took me to Weight Watchers, I distinctly remember just sort of having this vague idea that, somehow this is good to take off some weight, but I didn't know that I needed to. I had no body concept. I didn't have any idea about things. I just didn't understand any of that. And in fact, I continued for a number of years. I would go up and down, going on every diet. I could tell you probably the diets I have not been on much more easily than I could the ones that I have been on, from the ridiculous to the sublime. I mean, even one diet where you ate like all hard-boiled eggs one day, all bananas another day, and all hot dogs the third day. Crazy, crazy stuff. And I found out that there are many, many ways to take off weight. Even though, as I went on through my teen years and in college, I kind of put on weight. I was a biology major. I was really into it. And eventually I taught school for a while. I even taught nutrition. And you would think that, it would sink in. But then again, how many doctors do you know that are very, very overweight? And they're telling patients to lose weight. But, very often the thing that you study, the thing that you teach, so often you don't apply to yourself. And I did not. The stuff that I taught somehow or another was removed from my real life, to the extent that I didn't apply any of that knowledge to me. Why not? Well, because when you're used to living a certain way, that's just so normal and familiar and natural to you that that's what you do. Until something happens to shake you up, okay? And something happened to me, right? So I went through my life, I eventually got married, I had 3 kids, I put on weight, I lost weight, I put on weight, I lost weight. At one point, right now I'm probably, 135, 140, something like that. At one point I was 230 pounds, possibly a little more, like almost 100 pounds more than I am now. And even then, I knew I was big and I felt funny about how I looked, but I still don't think I had a true concept of how large I was. Now look, I was wearing like size 2X and kind of getting on into 3X there. That is large for a woman who is 5'4". And now I'm only 5'3", because when you get older, I guess you sort of wear down those thingies between your vertebrae or something, and it makes you shrink a little. Anyhow, so this is the thing that happened that shook me up. When I was around 60 years old, I was feeling kind of tired, and I just didn't feel my usual self. And I figured, oh, it's probably some hormonal thing. That's what, we women often think, oh, it must be hormones, right? Oh, I'm bloated. It must be hormones. Oh, I'm putting on weight. It must be hormones. Anyway, so I went to my OBGYN because I figured it was hormones. And she did all these tests, and she called me up and said, please come in. Your A1C came back at 9.9. I am putting you on metformin right now, and you're going to go see the diabetes nutritionist. I'm diabetic. I mean, you could have knocked me over with a feather. How could I be diabetic? I've always been healthy. I've always eaten kind of crazy, especially like sweets. I ate pizza frequently. I love cheese. Didn't eat much fried stuff, but I ate a lot of fatty stuff and a lot of sugary stuff, and obviously ate more than I needed to be. At the time, I was 205 pounds when the diabetes nutritionist weighed me. How could I be diabetic? I was embarrassed. I was mortified. I didn't want to tell anyone. I grieved. I felt like, because I did, all of a sudden, the stuff that I had taught over the years, and also I had worked as a researcher at the Medical College of Georgia, and I knew about, for example, the effects of diabetes. I mean, might I end up blind one day, or having to have something amputated, or having to have dialysis because my kidneys fail, or, oh my gosh. I really felt bad when I found that out. And I finally told my family after a few days, and they were very, very supportive. And the diabetes nutritionist put me on American Diabetes Association diet that was very, very strict. And I'm, testing my blood sugar several times a day, and eating according to this diet, and taking metformin. And I ended up losing, I think I eventually lost maybe 40 pounds. I was down to around 160, 165. No matter how strictly I stuck to that diet, I couldn't get it down anymore. And not only was I dieting, but as soon as I, saw the diabetes nutritionist, I started going to the gym like 4 to 6 days a week. And I swam distances. I worked out in the gym. I also started running. I was working so hard, and my blood sugar, it did go down, but even with taking the diabetes medication, I never could get it down, the A1C down below 6. And I had all these muscles and everything, but I could not get my weight below like 160 to 165. Just did not seem to be able to lose any more weight. But I figured I'm older, I'm happy at this weight, I feel so much better, fit in clothes better, it's okay. And I went along for several years that way. So that was when I was 60 that started, okay? When I was 66, my daughter became a health coach. And I read all the research on the program that she was coaching. And I said, this seems like a sound thing, seemed well backed by research from places like the National Institutes of Health and Johns Hopkins, reliable places that you can depend on. So I said, I'll be your first client. What the heck, I'll give it a whirl, you know, just kind of on a lark. And maybe I was like 178 pounds at that point, because, yeah, it's hard to keep it off. And I thought, well, maybe I'd get down to 160 again. You know, that'd be nice. You know, let her have a client, learn how to coach and everything. Well, I went on the program. And the first time, the way the program worked was it has little meal replacements that you use. And the one that I went on, because there's different programs for different, situations, ages, conditions, and all this. So I would eat 5 of these meal replacements a day, and then a small meal of 5 to 7 ounces of lean protein and 3 servings of a green non-starchy vegetable. So the first time I opened one of these meal replacements, I go, this is it. This does not look very much, but, I ate it. And on this program, you eat 6 times a day. So you get to eat every 2 to 3 hours. And honestly, if you get hungry, you don't have that long to wait before you eat again. You can always find something to occupy yourself till you eat again. So, the first 2 or 3 days were a little rough, but then I'm not hungry anymore. I get all this energy. As I learned later, it was because my body was burning my own fat, not the muscle. And I'll tell you how I know that, because after about 4.5 months, not only did I get down to 160, I got down to 130. And you know what? The muscles were still there. Now, actually, they're probably bigger than they are now, because, I had just come off of working out for years. And now I work out for fun and to keep fit, but I don't work out crazy because I'm trying to lose weight, because I've learned that that healthy weight is made 80% in the kitchen and only 20% in the gym. So, I lost the weight and I had all these great muscles, and that was proof that my body fat got burned away, but the muscle didn't. And by the way, what's interesting is there's been research on this to show that for 12 pounds lost, 10 of those are fat. Pretty good, huh? Anyway, so I'm on this program, I'm losing weight, but not only am I losing weight, my A1C, after just a few weeks on the program, goes down to 5.4. Now, 5.7 and below is considered normal. And I was told, don't ever expect to have a normal blood sugar. You're diabetic. My blood sugar was normal. In fact, I've had trouble the last 2 years with getting insurance to pay for my A1C test every 3 months, which is the protocol if you're diabetic, because it keeps coming back normal. So someone, I guess, or a computer or whatever, looks at it, the insurance company, and says, well, this person is not diabetic. So, we're not going to pay every 3 months. And, it's always had to be refiled. That's kind of nice, So anyway, for the last 2 years now, my blood sugar, every time it's been tested, has been normal. I had high blood pressure. That was another knock in the head, I'm telling you. Shortly, maybe 3 months before I went on this plan, I went to one of these things that my work has, like a health fair where the hospital comes with nurses and all kinds of little machines and stuff. And they test my blood pressure, and they say, you need to see your doctor. I said, what's the problem? They said, you have high blood pressure. I said, no, I don't. I've never had high blood pressure. I had high blood pressure. Okay, well, now I have normal blood pressure. Now, why is this? It's because I took off weight. obesity, being overweight to a greater or lesser extent, that's like the mother of almost all health problems. And by taking off weight, I ended up sort of healing or curing a number of health problems that I had without even intending to. Another thing also, as I was getting older, I'm 68 now, by the way. As I was getting older, I was having increasing trouble with arthritis. And when I took off the weight, I don't have very much trouble at all. You know, sometimes on a cold, wet winter day, I may have a few twinges, but for the most part, I'm doing really well. And also, this is a little bit weird because people don't talk about this a lot, but I had a daytime sleeping disorder. It's called idiopathic hypersomnia, which means idiopathic, we don't know what it's from, and hyper means too much, and somnia is sleeping. So it would be like I went in for one of those sleep tests, and they asked me to stay. Like I stayed the night with all the electrodes attached to me and all that. And then they said, could you please stay for this morning? Okay, why? Well, we just want to get readings on you, in the morning. Well, it turns out they wanted to because I could basically go to sleep anytime. And usually in the afternoons, I would get so sleepy. I could lay down and just fall asleep. Now, I was not like, Rowan Atkinson in Rat Race, where he would just be going along and, he falls asleep. It wasn't like that. But I was sleepy enough that I could go to sleep. It was hard to pay attention to things and stuff like that. So after, what happened is when I first went on the plan, I used to take Ritalin to keep me, awake and perky all day. And I forgot to take it for a couple days, and I realized, oh my gosh, I'm not sleepy. What's going on? And it turns out that having taken off the weight took care of the daytime sleeping disorder too. And since then, I've heard about other people that this has happened to. Well, anyway, so, this kind of, all right, I'm leaving out the most important part here. So it's been over 2 years since I originally went on the plan. And after several months, I became a health coach. And I got certified. And the reason I did that is, how could I not share this with other people? This has changed my life. I'm going to just show you on the refrigerator. I have some pictures of me when I was probably anywhere from 180 to 230 pounds. And I keep them up here to remind myself. Never again. I don't want to be that big ever again. And it's not a matter of looks. I'm still the same great person inside that I was back then. But I feel so much better. And my health is so wonderful. And here's the thing. I eat regular whole foods now. And I only use the meal replacements during the weight loss part of my plan. And then I transitioned back to all regular food. So I have learned how to eat healthy. And I have got toddler grandchildren. I can keep up with them. In fact, they're falling asleep before I've run out of energy. That's amazing. I'm 68 years old. And I think I look pretty darn good for 68. And I feel good. I'm healthy. And I tell you what, during this coronavirus thing, because of my age, I'm at a greater risk. But because I'm healthy, I'm not worried like I might be if I had the very conditions that obesity can cause, which put you in that category of being having underlying health conditions. So I wanted to share this, and especially I wanted to share it today because the plan that I coach for today and tomorrow has a 25% discount. If you've ever thought about trying to get healthy, whether you need to gain weight, lose weight, maintain your weight, but in a healthy way to improve your health, get in touch with me because, this is an amazing opportunity. And I was sharing this, before they provided this discount. They're calling it a quarantine discount. They've never offered a discount before. And it's a very unusual circumstance, and we certainly hope they never have to again, at least not for something like this. But a lot of people are sitting at home, packing it on. And a lot of people have realized, oh, golly, my health. I need to devote some time and energy to getting healthier. Get in touch with me. I am passionate about helping people get healthy because of what it's done in my life. I hope you have a wonderful day and think about it, okay? Or pass this on to someone you know who might be interested. You can do this. You can get healthy.